basketball very seriously. In fact, when he came out from the team that year, former coach Tony Vitosa remembers his firm handshake and the basketball resume that he carried with him. His mature approach, accompanied by his fun-loving persona, was essential to the team that year. He was one of the first and only people on the roster that carried a cell phone, and it was constantly attached to his ear. It showed how infectious his personality was and spoke to his passion for technology. Alongside the latest gadgets, Terrence enjoyed taking apart and putting computers back together again. And he was ecstatic when he landed a job with vital computer technologies at the World Trade Center in September of 2011. 9/11 was only Terrence's sixth day on the job, and as dedicated as he was to every endeavor he pursued, he got to work early that morning. At just 30 years of age, Terrence left behind a wife, three beautiful children, but more than anything, he left behind a persona that continues to leave everyone in awe even today. Ladies and gentlemen, our hero, Terrence Aiken! Our next honoree, Scott Davidson, played for the Dolphins his entire four-year career. From 1986 to 89, starring on a pair of CUNY championship teams. On the court, Scott was the rare team player whose selflessness role was to make others better. Scott was a mainstay in a starting lineup, but you won't find his value in the box score. He could sometimes play a full 40 minutes and never take a shot. Instead, his role was to do the hard job of transitioning play, guarding the other team's best player, using his small frame to clog up the middle, taking charges, and sprawling on the ground with no regard for his long body to get the loose ball. His teammates recall with no hesitation his ability to carry teams, possessing the intangibles that often make teams good, great. Scott's opponent remember hating having to play against him, but always respected him after a tough 40 minutes. A few basketball officials can even remember some colorful words Scott had reserved just for them as well. Scott's intensity in many ways was saved for basketball. Because many knew him away from the court, knew him as being very playful away from the court. Scott dedicated a lot of his time spreading love, fun and love to others around him, even when no one was watching. It's no wonder that Scott's fiery personality and his love and care for others resulted in his entry into the New York City Fire Department, and later into the World Trade Center on September 11th. Just like in basketball, even in the very worst of situations, Scott was doing what he had always done, put himself out there head first and ready to take on whatever came at him. At the age of 33, Scott left behind a loving family that includes his wife, Amy, and two children. Often seen at CSI events and tournaments years after graduation, Scott was a fixture in this building long after his playing days. Tonight is our chance to celebrate his energy, spirit, and unwavering heroism on September 11th. Ladies and gentlemen, our hero, Scott Davidson! Our final honoree tonight, Tom Hannafin, was a 4-year standout with the Dolphins from 1983 to 87. He won 3 championships during his time here and is considered one of the more dynamic two-way players in CSI basketball history, etching a place in the record books in categories like assists and steals. His teammates and coaches will tell you that so long as Tom was on the court, CSI was in the game, feared no one, and was ready to do whatever it took to win. In other words, he was a total package and much of the glue that held everything together. But for all the winning CSI did and all the records Tom was a part of, it's not what people remember most about him. From a big family, that was what was most important to Tom, and it made sense that he treated basketball in that way too. For Tom, being a part of the team represented a chance to grow away from the court and a chance to make teammates, brothers, and in turn, friends to loved ones. Forever together as family. Tom loved getting the gang together away from basketball. He organized events like ski trips and simple weekend get-togethers for his teammates, even well after his playing days were over, keeping them together always. People loved going to Tom's place for a look at old photo albums, some with photos of basketball, some filled with other treasured memories. If Tom was out, those same albums traveled with him. It certainly spoke to who he was on the court, a distributor of the basketball, elevating those around him, turning athletes into teammates. Tom chose to play and love the game his entire life, even when he entered the FDNY. Many in his family, those connected by blood and those connected by basketball, will talk of Tom simply being there, being in their lives when it mattered most. He was always just a phone call away to laugh, to cry, or just enjoy each other's company. It makes sense then that Tom joined the fire department where brotherhood and selfless fortune come from to the aid of another are standard fare. His unit was based in Greenwich Village and was one hit hardest by the attacks, as many in his house perished at the site that day. At the age of 36, leaving behind a wife and 2 children, Tom made the ultimate sacrifice a family member would make for another. And it is an honor to be here for him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, our hero, Tom Hannafin! Ladies and gentlemen, the uniforms of Terrence Scott and Tom are on display beneath the main scoreboard in the arena tonight. Please say a silent prayer for them and their families, all the brave men and women who serve as heroes of September 11th, and those who serve as heroes every day. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in a standing ovation one more time for our heroes, Terrence Scott and Tom. We would like to thank all in attendance for being a part of our evening tonight. We would like to thank the families of our heroes for allowing us to continually honor their memory with this tournament. Thank you to the officials and the College of Southern Connecticut for your patience. We will have 5 minutes on the clock of warm-ups for both teams. We will kick off game 2 in about 5 minutes. Stay tuned.
Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you back in to 2024 Tournament of Heroes coverage on the ECC Network. In tonight's featured men's basketball matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the Owls of Southern Connecticut State University. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and I do apologize for having to bail about halfway through Game 1. I was needed at the stats desk, but I am joined now by my broadcast partner, Nick Pavona, and we hope to keep it that way for 40 minutes of basketball and our featured game of the evening tonight.
Yeah, we got a great first game of this Tournament of Heroes, Joe, between Southern New Hampshire and Stack. Came down to the wire, Stack being able to hold on 81-76, the final in that game. So now here, game number 2, just about 2:20 away from tip-off. And CSI, obviously, their first game of the season, Joe, looking to build off a very successful 2023-24 campaign last season where they finished second in the ECC standings.
Had to communicate with the stats desk again, Nick, so I apologize for not hearing the tail end of what you said, but either way, I do have to communicate with the other side as well and let them know to make sure that we do play the national anthem once again ahead of this game. But the Dolphins obviously playing a very important game on their schedule each and every year. The Tournament of Heroes has been a staple of the men's basketball program now for 22 seasons, dating all the way back to 2002, 2003. And the reason we are here tomorrow and tonight is to honor the memories of Terrence Aiken, Scott Davidson, and Tom Hannafin. And I'm not sure there's a much better way to do that than to have a great display of basketball, the game that all three of them loved and the game that all three of them played here at the College of Staten Island.
And as I mentioned, they got treated to a very good game 1 between Stack and Southern New Hampshire. And now we'll see if they get treated to another good contest here tonight. And obviously, they're all hoping that the Dolphins pick up the win in this particular game. As I mentioned, CSI's first game of the season. They're coming off that big year last year, second in the ECC standings, and returning a lot of big players from last season's team. Guys like J.J. Chestnut, Aaron Goldstein, the ECC preseason player of the year, Messiah Mallory, to note a couple of players in that starting 5 from tonight's lineup. Those are 3 of the biggest pieces that they're going to have for this upcoming 2024-25 season in hopes to make the playoffs once again.
Well, Nick, you and I, and perhaps I'm spoiling it a bit, but we did film our Open to the Dolphin pod, which will summarize the weekend here at the Tank and recap both the Women's Basketball Conference Challenge and the Tournament of Heroes for men's basketball. But Mallory, a name that we highlighted, and I want to share a story from earlier today about Messiah and his family. I had the chance to meet his grandmother today. She loves the broadcast, a great woman, and she said Messiah is not only a great basketball player, he is a great person, and through all of my interactions with him over the last 3 years plus now, I can certainly attest to that. He's been a great friend of the broadcast. Even when he's not exactly thrilled about doing interviews, we managed to get him to smile. It was great to meet his grandmother today. I want to give her a shout out, though I do believe she is still here to take in the game tonight. So we hope that Messiah can put on a show for her, and obviously the ECC preseason player of the year with a lot of expectations coming into the season. His senior campaign, the Dolphins expect to be a championship caliber team. They are a regionally respected team, did receive votes for the regional top 10, so we'll see if they can earn themselves a spot in that top 10 with a win tonight.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. You know, as I mentioned, you're bringing key players like Aaron Goldstein, last year's Freshman of the Year, back to back. Another, CSS had some great freshmen over the past couple years, including Messiah Mallory. So you're bringing him back, you're bringing Chestnut back. We talked about a lot in that opener of the Dolphin pod about some of the big players that are coming back from CSI, including some of their key bench pieces as well. So as we mentioned, there's a lot of optimism coming into this 2024-25 season, and it all kicks off tonight with this Tournament of Heroes.
And we'll talk a bit more about some of the new faces on this Dolphin squad and some of the returners. But with the starting lineups being introduced out on the floor, what we are going to do is step aside very quickly and take one final break. The national anthem will immediately follow starting lineups. On the other side of the anthem, we will come back with tip-off in this featured game on night one of the 2024 CSI Men's Basketball Tournament of Heroes. Dolphins and Owls coming up next. And we are back here on the ECC Network. We were informed right before tip-off that there will not be a national anthem ahead of this game. We had one already in the early game. Thought they might do it as part of our Tournament of Heroes, but no anthem singer tonight. And we are underway from the Tank as the College of Staten Island opens their men's basketball season against Southern Connecticut State University. The game opens with a missed shot from in close, and Messiah Mallory has it for CSI.
Antonio Chandler had to throw that one up towards the rim and just was not able to let that one fall through.
Dolphins starting lineup making his CSI debut. Joey Poulin, the rest of the CSI starters, J.J. Chestnut, Aaron Goldstein, Messiah Mallory, and Blake Wilson. This is Chestnut to the rim with the left hand, can't finish. Rebound pulled in by Albert Vargas.
Good defense on that play from Chandler on that one.
Vargas with the fall away jump shot, no good. Poulin with the rebound. Starters for the Owls, Antonio Chandler, Isaac Hester, Sean James, Sharif Diarra, and Albert Vargas. That ball poked away from J.J. Chestnut, and that is going to be a Dolphins turnover.
Early Dolphin turnover right there as Mallory was trying to get Chestnut on the cut to the basket.
Vargas will bring it up for the Owls. A 5'10 junior guard from New York. New York, that is. On the fake, going up with the left over Mallory was Chandler. He can't finish, and Blake Wilson pulls in the rebound.
Second time Chandler's gone up with a shot towards the rim, Joe, and Mallory's been all over him defensively.
Goldstein takes a shot to the face on the way in. He draws the foul. Chandler picks up the personal. First personal for Chandler, first team foul for Southern Connecticut State. Nick, as always, the Tank beginning to draw closer to packed to capacity. As that shot's good as gold. First three of the season is good for Aaron Goldstein. And
right on cue, we mentioned in the Dolphin pod this week that we'll talk about it next week, Joe. Aaron Goldstein, a lot of these players trying to replace the production that they lost this past offseason with Bryce Waterman's three-point shots. Big one right there from Goldstein to get the season started.
Dolphins, a strong perimeter defense here. Chandler kicks out to Vargas, 10 to shoot. Chandler back to the basket, looking for somewhere to go with it. Hands off, Vargas, baseline drive, spin move, and a rejection by Mallory. Here comes Chestnut on the break, and his layup is good.
Chestnut gets the easy fast break lay-in off the block from Allery. Defense leading to offense for CSI, and a quick 5 for JJ.
Strong start for the Dolphins defensively. Nothing easy for the Owls. The feed goes to Diarra. Mismatch against Goldstein. The kick out to Vargas. He's defended by Chestnut. James from the corner, and he knocks down the 3.
James took the initial step in and took that shot off, and a tough shot nonetheless. Gets Southern Connecticut State its first bucket of the season.
Dolphins lead it 5-3, just shy of 3 minutes gone by in the first half. This is Blake Wilson. He drives to his left, is forced to pick up his dribble, finds Goldstein. Goldstein backing in on Vargas. He lost it, and that will be Owls basketball.
Second turnover of the game so far for the Dolphins, as Goldstein looked like he was trying to go for a fadeaway shot, but lost the ball as he was going up.
Vargas will bring it up. He gets the handoff right back from Diarra. Open corner 3, James. No good. Rebound loose and pulled in by Chandler. The Owls work it around into the corner. Posting up now is James. Kick out. Vargas 3. And that's good as the Owls go in front.
Second chance points right there for the Owls, and Vargas knocks down that long range 3. Give them their first lead of this game.
Goldstein is rejected on the inside by Chandler. Here come the Owls again. Inside with the right, high off the window, it's James who converts for 2.
And just like that, Joe, after a 5-0 run from CSI, 8-0 run for the Owls.
And Mallory can't answer with the left hand. The Owls look to push, but James will slow it down. And Vargas now has it. He uses the screen from James. Vargas, off back iron, no good from deep. And the rebound goes to Chandler. Vargas will try again, and he makes no mistake that time.
Another 3 for Chandler, and how about Vargas as well? You know, great start for the Owls. As I mentioned, down 5-0 early, 11-0 run now. It's 11-5 early in this game.
This is Mallory facing up against Chandler, and he's a bit strong on the jumper.
Chandler almost lost that ball.
Vargas feeds it inside. James finds the cutting Chandler, and he drops it in.
13-0 run now continues for the Owls in this one. Good passing leads that open 2 under the rim.
Chestnut stripped on the way up. And that ball's heaved up the floor. To the rim goes Diarra. And it's a 15-0 run for Southern Connecticut State.
And CSI is trying quickly to get that points and answer back.
Goldstein couldn't finish on the first try or the second. But a foul will come after that play concluded. It was on J.J. Chestnut.
Yep. That's going to lead to the first media timeout, Joe. And after that 5-0 run to start, as you mentioned, a 15-0 run for the Owls gives them an early 10-point lead. Under 15 minutes to go.
With that, we will head to our first break with 14:42 on the clock. In the first half, the Dolphins trail 15-5.
We have Morgan and Julian.
And we're back from the tank where the Dolphins, after jumping out to a 5-0 lead, trail by 10.
It's been a mixture of things so far in this game, Joe. Turnovers, some missed shots, and meanwhile, three-point shots going in for the Owls.
Three-pointer on its way, no good. That is Jack Margupis in the game now. That three-pointer is good by Sean James.
That's another thing that's also gone well for the Owls. They've been getting second-chance opportunities, and they get another second-chance three, and now continue this run, now at 18.
Dolphins made wholesale substitutions during that last timeout as the alley-oop's a bit high. And I caught some of one preseason scrimmage. These Dolphins were playing high above the rim. That three-pointer a bit too strong. Chandler with another offensive board. Feed inside on the cut, a good one. And able to finish was Christian McLeese.
And you saw, Joe, that the Dolphins made a bunch of substitutions. They went full 5 substitutions trying to end this run. It so far has not been the case.
Laddie, Kone, Oyakanmi, Wiggin, and Ziris, the 5 in the game for the Dolphins, who finally break a 20-0 Owls run.
Yeah, that was Oyakanmi on the bucket. We mentioned him as well. Big, strong defensive player for the CSI team. He can make some nice buckets inside the paint when needed be.
So I misspoke. That last layup went to Chandler. I believe I said it was by McLeese. And make no mistake on that one, Margupis has another 3.
Just been raining threes for the Owls in this first half. Another one gives them a 16-point lead.
Ziris in the corner, defended by McLeese. Nice bounce pass feed, but Kone could not finish. Head fake and a three-pointer by James is way off. It will be Dolphins basketball.
You get that sense early, Joe, that the Dolphins really could use some kind of spark, maybe from one of their players, to get them back into this game. It's still very early. It's still a lot of time to go in this one. But you also want to get the crowd involved as well. That way they can pump up the rest of their team on offense and this defense as well.
You'd love to utilize the capacity crowd to your advantage. And they were engaged early. The Dolphins started off strong, but the Owls have surged ahead by 16. And you have to be careful here if you're the Dolphins not to let this get out of hand. And they may have counted that basket, Nick.
Did they give him the continuation on that? I don't think so.
Did not.
No.
So I saw the point down, but I thought perhaps that was a signal it counted. Didn't think it should have.
No.
How about that shot by Jenelise Alarcon earlier today at the end of the quarter?
I didn't notice it at first as I was fixing some stats issues, but I saw it after the game, and I could not believe how they gave that a made field goal.
It was 2 or 3 seconds late as the Dolphins turn it over, but losing his footing was Christian Joe. He did get rid of the ball, and the Owls come up the floor. Joe uses the Margupis screen, drops it off inside, but Diarra was stripped, and it will stay Owls basketball.
And that's why I was talking about Oyakami's defense. That's a great defensive play. That looked like an easy dunk right there, but knocked it out of his hands, and it will lead to this inbound under the basket.
On the pull-up, Hester. It rolls off the rim and is rebounded by Kone. Here comes Shamar Laddie up the floor. Ziris, too strong from 3, and it hits the framing of the backboard. Out of bounds, Owls basketball. Messiah Mallory and Aaron Goldstein back in for the Dolphins ahead of what will be a media timeout. 11:47 to go, first half. Dolphins trail by 16. Joe Foreman back with you here on CSI Sportsnet, and for the second consecutive game, I have lost my color commentary partner to the stats desk. Unfortunately, with the loss of some key staff members from last year, we are having a bit of a tough time acclimating, but Nick, kind enough to go over and relinquish his headset and help them out, so I will be taking you the rest of the way solo in this game. Nick and I are on stats tomorrow. Nick Durst will be on the call solo for the final 2 games of this Tournament of Heroes. It is Owls basketball with under 12 minutes to go in the first half. They lead it by 16. They are in the midst of a 23-2 run right now. The Dolphins in this game have attempted just 8 shots. Southern Connecticut has attempted 18. And that tells you that turnovers have been a problem. The Dolphins are losing the turnover battle 6-0. The Owls have it with 15 to shoot. Step back off the crossover is good. Christian Joe from downtown. Dolphins now trail by 18. They gave him a 2 on that one. His foot was on the line. This is Ziris. Floater is good. And it's really good to see Justin Ziris back on the court. We saw flashes of what he could do late last season. As Margupis can't connect from the corner, it's saved. And the rebound goes to the Owls. Margupis now looks to drive, got away with an offensive foul, and he can't finish the layup. I'm not sure how they missed that one. Boy, he pushed off in a big way there. But on the topic of Justin Ziris, late last year on senior day, he was off to a dazzling start in that game, showing exactly why he's such an important part of this team, despite the fact that he's been limited mostly by injury during his time with the program. And he went down with an injury in that senior day finale as Chestnut draws a foul, and we thought that was the end of the line for Ziris, with senior day expected to be the last game of his Dolphins career, but he is back with the program this year and is a part of the rotation to start the season here on the first night of the Tournament of Heroes. That being said, head coach TJ Tibbs used the Tournament of Heroes to get as many players into the game as possible last year as well. Dolphins utilized their full bench during opening weekend. It was a pair of tough losses for the Dolphins in those games, but that was by no means an indication of what the team would go on to do last year, as they nearly won 20 games. They had a shot at the end of the season, but came up short in, I believe, a game against Bloomfield. It was a big game between two teams that had a very real shot to find themselves ranked in the regional top 10. The Bears took the win right at the end, and the Dolphins came up one win short of 20. Pull-up jumper no good there by McLeese. He gets another chance from three and misses again. Rebound goes to Kone. Ziris pushes it to Goldstein. Out to Chestnut. Up to Ziris for three. Short. Rebound brought in by McLeese. Nice bounce pass for Diarra. He kicks out, and Margupis is short from distance. Goldstein, Chestnut, and Ziris all in the game together. And Goldstein was fouled on the drive. I'm not sure that's a combination we've seen at all the last two seasons. And it should be very interesting to watch those three, but it won't be for long. As Poulin and Wilson check back in, the Dolphins now with their starting five on the floor. Chestnut surveys and finds Goldstein. Goldstein off the handoff from Mallory, and he has his second triple. Aaron Goldstein from beyond the arc. Chestnut with the steal and the lay-in. It's an 11-point game. Dolphins now applying some pressure. With it is James. He swings it to the wing. Hester now uses the Chandler screen. Bounce pass to Chandler. He's trapped in a double team, and he gets it away, but it is a 3-second violation. Second turnover of the game for the Owls. They come on back-to-back possessions, and the Dolphins have it back with a chance to cut the deficit to single digits. 9 minutes to go, first half. Owls in front, 25-14. This is Wilson, defended by Diarra. Goldstein will use the Wilson screen. Wilson left open for three. Too strong off back iron. The rebound was tipped away and brought in by the Owls. Chandler cannot corral the pass. And Coach Tibbs getting the ball to the official quickly. Wants him to get it to his team quickly, but the Owls are able to get back. This is Goldstein, defended by Vargas. Feed inside, Mallory. Messiah faces up, spins, and scores. And Messiah with as much emotion as you'll see from him on the floor. He's fired up early, and the Dolphins are within 9. Just over 8 minutes to go, first half. Three-pointer, Hester is good. And he was fouled. I did not hear the whistle, but Hester was fouled on the three-point attempt. Just like that, it's a 12-point game again, and Hester will go back to the line. That's Chestnut's second foul. He will have to come out of the game. Justin Ziris comes in for Chestnut. On the other side, Elijah Wood will come in for the Owls. He replaces Sharif Diarra. Free throw from Hester is good. And the lead is right back up to 13. Ziris will run the point for the Dolphins here. That will give Goldstein a chance to play off the ball a bit. Mallory looks to attack Chandler. He lost his dribble, and the pass to Poulin was tipped. Now Ziris with 12 to shoot. And he lost it off the foot of Hester. But play continues. Here comes Vargas. That is turnover number 7 for the Dolphins as the three is off. And a foul was called underneath against the Owls, which will send us to a media timeout inside of 8 minutes to play in this first half. Dolphins trail 29-16. And we are back from the tank, where the Dolphins trail by 13, just over 7.5 to play in half number 1. Justin Ziris joins 4 Dolphins starters on the floor as that pass gets away, and it will be a Dolphins turnover. But the 4 Dolphin starters, Wilson, Goldstein, Poulin, and Mallory, J.J. Chestnut relegated to the bench with foul trouble at the moment. Here comes Vargas. I don't know how he kept his pivot foot there. That was some nifty footwork in heavy traffic. Surveying the floor is James. He will use the screen from Diarra. Now Vargas, 10 to shoot. Vargas matched up with Mallory now. Bounce pass along the baseline, and somehow Diarra found a lane to put that up and in. Ziris for Mallory. Messiah fakes, and that's good defense by Diarra to stay on his feet. Nobody home on that pass, and that will be Dolphins turnover number 9. The Owls will inbound from right in front of the scorer's table. And the Dolphins right now are in a mode where I think they need to keep this within striking distance. Probably within 15 points at worst. And that's where they are right now. And make it 18. The Owls in front 34-16 as the Dolphins do get it to Mallory this time, and he connects on the floater. And you can see Messiah now with his team beginning to fall behind, getting a bit more assertive at the offensive end. And that shot is rejected by Mallory. What a job there to block that shot without committing a foul.
For the Dolphins, number 10, Connecticut, enters the game to replace Mitchell.
Asa Kone back into the game for the Dolphins, replacing Blake Wilson. This is Vargas on the kick out, and Wood traveled, no question about it. Mallory was all over him too on that shot. I'm not sure that wasn't going to be an air ball either way.
Substitution for the Owls, 21, Christian Joe re-enters the game and replace Vargas.
Dolphins have it, trailing by 16. Goldstein was briefly doubled on his way in, and he knocks down another 3. After they doubled him briefly, Goldstein casually dribbled to the corner, was given space, and knocks down his 3rd triple. Goldstein leading the Dolphins with 9 points, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. And James answers right back with 3 more of his own. James, 4 of 6 from downtown. He has 14 points. Goldstein for 3, and it rolls off. The family seated right over my shoulder wanted to see that one go down. Aaron now 3 of 4 from downtown, 3 of 6 from the field. James kicks out. Bounce pass inside, goes to Diarra. He fakes, and he is rejected again. Mallory with the defense, and James with another tough 3-point basket. He was falling away into the corner, and right in front of the Dolphins bench, Sean James buries the triple to make it a 19-point game. And with a timeout called on the floor, we will head to break once again. The Dolphins trailing 40-21. And we are back from the tank with just over 4.5 minutes to go in half number 1. Featured game on night 1 of this 2024 men's basketball tournament of heroes. And the Dolphins trail by 19 against Southern Connecticut State University. This is Mallory driving baseline. He has Kone, and Kone was fouled. With Kone and Mallory on the floor together, the Dolphins have as much size as they've had out there at one time in the last couple of seasons. The last Dolphin who represented true legitimate size off of the bench, as in 6'8 plus, I believe, was Josh Vargas. Sean Hargrave has played limited minutes for the Dolphins as well, but I don't think we've seen him enough to know exactly what he's going to bring to this team moving forward. But Kone clearly going to be a player that factors into this rotation regularly, and you put him next to Mallory, and all of a sudden you have 6'7 and 6'8 anchoring the middle, and we know how versatile Mallory's skill set is. I referenced earlier a scrimmage that men's basketball hosted here at the tank, and Kone in that scrimmage showed off his athleticism. Should be a very exciting duo to watch this season. And speaking of athleticism, Michael Oyakanmi checks back into the game. Another player who lost much of last season due to injury. A player that was certainly going to be a big part of this team, and obviously his brother Adelaide was on the team as well. It actually might have been 2 years ago that Michael lost part of the season to injury. It's amazing how fast time flies covering this Dolphins program, but it's very easy now to look at last year and the year before as yesterday and 2 days ago. It feels as if it's gone by that quickly. Diarra on the hook shot, and he gets the roll. Owls back in front by 19. This is Mallory off the entry pass. Lefty layup is good. So I was indeed correct. Michael did appear in 29 games last year. It was 2 years ago that he lost a big chunk of the season due to injury. He appeared in just 8 games. Averaged about 9 minutes per game off the bench last year, but oftentimes those 9 minutes, electrifying minutes. A player that can contribute defensively and on the glass, and very athletic player offensively as well. That time Diarra couldn't finish. Mallory off the long outlet is fouled. So Messiah will head to the line for 2 shots. And with 3:10 on the clock, we are going to have another timeout. This time it will be a media timeout. Final media timeout of this first half. We can sure hope so. The Dolphins trail 42-25. And we are back from the tank where Messiah Mallory will have 2 shots coming up from the free throw line. His team trailing by 17. Mallory thus far in this game with 6 points on 3 of 4 from the field. 2 rebounds and 2 blocks. He has played 14 minutes, came out briefly when Coach Tibbs substituted out his entire starting unit. And Mallory can't connect on the second free throw. That was Hester forced to give it up. Margupis lost it. Mallory saved it, and Poulin scoops it up. He finds Mallory in transition. This is Laddie. Circling back beyond the arc, he hands off to Mallory. Mallory, turnaround jumper, and he passes it instead. Oyakonmi couldn't finish, but Poulin has the rebound, and Oyakonmi banks it in on the second effort. Michael Oyakonmi with the and one will head to the free throw line for one more. And that is the high effort, high athleticism kind of play that we were talking about earlier. All made possible by the effort of Joey Poulin on the glass. Free throw by Oyakonmi is good, and just like that, it's a 13-point game. Big crossover there by Vargas, feet inside, and the layup no good by Margupis. Chandler there to clean it up, count it, and one. So after Oyakonmi converted on the and one at one end, Chandler comes back at the other end off the offensive board and is able to convert an and one of his own. One shot coming up for Antonio Chandler. Chandler now has 6 points. James leads the way and leads all scorers with 17. Chandler now the second leading scorer for the Owls with 7. Laddie to Mallory. No good from 3, but Laddie has the rebound. Now Ziris, too strong. On the drive, James can't hit. Here comes Laddie up the floor. Poulin, Ziris, splash. And Justin just thrilled to see one go down. You can see his reaction there. But Ziris now on the board for the second time. He has 5 points, and the Dolphins are within 13. Ball loose. And we'll see what the call is. Jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Dolphins.
Jump ball, Dolphins.
And you know how much Coach Tibbs loves to see his guys getting down on the floor and after that ball. I think when his team is playing, you see bodies end up on the floor a bit more often than any other game. 92 seconds to go, first half. Dolphins trail by 13, and they have a golden opportunity to pull back to within single digits. And Mallory rattles in the mid-range jumper to make it an 11-point game. That entry pass tipped away by Mallory. Good active hands. And with 24 to shoot, the Owls will inbound from the corner. Michael Oyakonmi back in. I would expect for defense in this spot. Laddie to the bench. Chandler hands off. This is Vargas. Defended well by Goldstein. Vargas tried to dish it off, but he traveled. And something that's easily overlooked in Aaron Goldstein's game, he was among the team leaders in steals last year. A very good defender. And the Dolphins, I believe, have called timeout. Though it may have been the Owls. Either way, it is the Owls. And the Dolphins will get a chance here to talk this possession over and perhaps diagram a play here. I thought the Dolphins might call timeout after they sent Oyakonmi into the game. I presumed that they were possibly thinking defense for offense in that spot, and then would call timeout and bring in a shooter off the bench. Oyekanmi scores his points from the inside. The Dolphins will indeed send Shamar Laddie back into the game, so I think the Owls did CSI a favor there with the timeout, allowing them to get some more offensive-minded personnel into the game. The Dolphins can go 2 for 1 here, but with 24 or so on the shot clock, they have to hurry, and they do lay it in. Good-looking feed, sets up Goldstein for the layup, and just like that, 9-point game. That's James again, putting up an air ball. And Goldstein encouraging the crowd and their air ball heckling. Dolphins back to within 9 now. Laddie looks toward the bench as a call comes in from Coach TJ Tibbs. Mallory will set the screen with 8 seconds to go in the half. Laddie, bounce pass, Goldstein, and he lays it in on the reverse. Aaron Goldstein cuts the Owls' lead to 7, and we head to halftime. Southern Connecticut State over Staten Island, 45-38. The TLC Physical Therapy halftime report with head coach TJ Tibbs coming up next. And we're joined courtside for the TLC Physical Therapy halftime report with men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs. Coach, early on, good start. Things slowed down a bit. What led you to sub out the starters and get a new unit in there early?
Well, first off, it's great to be back here with you and everybody here for another year. You guys do a great job. You know, I've been watching the games all day. And it's just something that we try to do early. So we got guys in, so nothing different. They were up 15-5. I mean, wow, right? Like Southern Connecticut, they fought hard. They went on such a great run at the end of their last year. And even though they've lost guys, they kept what their heart is. And that's they're coached really well. You know, they fight hard. They're physical. They came out and they were ready for a game. So they took the physicality to us early. And I thought as we started to get settled down, you know, it's the first game, some jitters, you know, we started to throw a punch back, and that's what we did to end the first half.
And that's exactly where I was going. Speaking of great runs, a great run for your team to end the half on a very important night to the program. How important is it to get a win on a night like this, and how important was that finish to the first half?
I mean, winning is important, but on a night like this, I hate to say it's secondary, but it is. I mean, we're always going to keep the memories of these 3 young men alive and their families. It's just the 2 most important days of the program and then graduation. So it would be nice to finally get a win, for sure. I mean, we're 0-6 in this tournament. We're well aware of that. But it speaks to the caliber of teams that we bring in here every single year. And Southern Connecticut fits the bill of all that. They're a regionally strong program. They have a phenomenal coach, somebody I have a lot of respect for. He's the only African-American coach in the NE10. I'm very aware of that. He's somebody that I look up to. And, you know, we're in a battle, and hopefully we could be, you know, victorious at the end.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half.
All right, thanks for having me.
Men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs joining us for the TLC Physical Therapy halftime report. I'll have to throw it back to myself as I'm on the air solo tonight. We'll head to a break for halftime. The Dolphins trail by 9. And we are back from the tank, and it is halftime here on night one of the 2024 CSI Men's Basketball Tournament of Heroes. But Tournament of Heroes season always means that a lot of familiar faces are in the house. Student athletes, alumni, family, friends, and we have a very notable men's basketball alumni joining us. He joined the 1,000 Point Club last year. Bryce Waterman joins me here on CSI Sportsnet. Bryce, welcome to the broadcast.
How are you doing, Mr. Foreman? How's everything?
I'm doing great with Mr. Waterman. The call splash doesn't quite hit the same without you on the roster.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's great to be back. Great to see the guys. Great first half. You know, a little always started out a little slow here. I feel like in the last 3 years I've been here for Tournament of Heroes. A little bit of jitters, but, you know, they get back into it. Coach Tibbs going to have them all ready for the second half, and I think we'll pull this one out.
Well, the first thing I have to ask before we get to what your life's been like beyond graduation, how difficult is it? First time back in the gym, first game since you've left the program, watching rather than being out there.
It's definitely a little weird. I didn't know how I was going to feel, how weird it was going to be, if I was just going to be used to it, but it's definitely a little weird not being out there with the guys and playing and things of that nature. So definitely going to be a little adjustment, but it's great to see everybody. They look great. We've got a lot of key notable guys that didn't play as much last year that are playing this year, so it's great to see everybody's development so far.
Life beyond graduation, what's that been like, and how did CSI prepare you for life beyond the classroom and the court?
So I'm actually still in graduate school. I have two classes this semester and then one next semester. And I'll be
you're
done.
out of eligibility.
Out of eligibility, not out of school yet. So almost done with school. But, you know, right now just working a little part-time job at Dick's, and then have some things that I have pretty much looking forward to after I graduate, looking at in that direction for work.
So now I have an inside man at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. 25%.
Our camera operator, Pat Gilorenzo, is a former employee of Dick's Sporting Goods from when they first opened back in the day. So let's talk a bit about this men's basketball program, your outlook for this year. Obviously, your team in the conference semifinal last year. You have to think now that this team is eyeing championship contention this year. Number 3 in the preseason poll. What are your thoughts on what this team can expect to achieve this year?
I think the expectation is what it was last year, which is definitely a championship. Long season, you know, a lot of going to be some growing pains. Everyone has to get used to playing with each other, but I think they can definitely accomplish that goal.
Now I have to ask about something that you and I discussed off headset a bit earlier.
Okay.
You're no longer on the team. I don't know if they use the play anymore, so perhaps you can't divulge the play. But when I was at the conference championship last year, they called the play Joe Foreman. You got open. You know I'm in the stands right behind you. What's going through your head as that shot goes up?
I mean, like every other shot, I'm trying to make that one, but especially since you were there and the play was for you. But, you know, sadly, I didn't make that one. But it was definitely a great design by Coach Tibbs. It's probably in his trick book somewhere. You might see that at some point again this season.
So a great effort by the Dolphins late in that first half, began to work their way back. But looking at last year's team, 3-point shooting and defense was really what I saw as the identity of the team last year. That stifling defense often led to transition baskets. The team has changed quite a bit since last year. A lot of new faces. What are your first takeaways on what this team's identity could be the rest of the way this year?
I think they definitely can do the same thing with the defense and their athleticism, that they're way longer than we were last year, and I think they're way more athletic than we were. I think they can cause havoc defensively, get out and run in transition. They still have a bunch of shooters, which is definitely good, and I think they have more people that can get in the paint. So I think they could be really, really good this year. I like what I'm seeing so far. And like I said, first game, you know, a little bit of jitters. Everyone's got to get used to playing with each other again. Everyone's trying to not press per se, but, you know, it's just the first game. So I think we'll see a lot of great things from this team this year.
Now, we all know he's great, but I think this question is a lot easier to answer now that you've moved on from the program. What's it like playing for Coach Tibbs?
It's actually, for me, you know, me and Coach Tibbs go way back. He's more like a big brother to me more than anything. He coached me when I was 16 years old for the Jayhawks, which is out of Queens, my AAU team. And he's been in my life ever since. You know, I was at prep school, we talked all the time. When I was at my other colleges, we talked all the time. And he really brought my joy for the game back. After I transferred from my last school, I actually thought about I wanted to quit a little bit. But just coming here and knowing more than that if basketball wasn't going good for me, I'd be taken care of off the court because he's such a great person. It was just a no-brainer for me. But to answer your question, playing for him is a joy. He's a great coach. He's one of the best basketball minds I've ever been around, and he's one of the best people I've ever been around.
Now, I actually want to bring up a play that I remember from last year, the end of the game. I believe it was Aaron Goldstein at the line. I think it was against Stack.
Yep.
You know where I'm going. The team was trailing by 2. So rather than trail by 1, he told Aaron, airball the free throw, get the jump ball call, and we get the ball back. Is that something that was on the agenda in practice that you guys knew would be a possibility moving through the season? Because here at the commentary desk, we were baffled by the genius of it.
Yeah, so that's actually a rule that a lot of people don't know. None of us knew it before. Before we had our first game, we were going through a bunch of different scenarios, and that was a scenario that actually came up. He was like, it doesn't happen too often, but in case I ever tell you just to air ball, you must do it. And AG, thank goodness that he caught on to it quick enough and did, and just had true faith in Coach Tibbs, because, like I said, one of the best basketball minds I've been around. I don't think anybody knows that rule. And I don't even think the opposing team knew that rule at that time.
I don't think they did either, based on their reaction. Me and Nick looked like a couple of fools on the broadcast. What happened? What happened? And somebody had to come tell us after the game. But something that I always ask student athletes and coaches when we have them on the Dolphin Pod or speak to them, why choose the College of Staten Island? What makes this place great? Obviously, your relationship with Coach Tibbs, a big part of your reason why you chose CSI. But is there anything else you'd like to highlight for prospective students?
Yeah. I think you should choose College of Staten Island. For one, I think it's a great balance between athletics and your personal life. And I just think the people here make this place, right? Like, I would come back for Coach Tibbs, but I would also come back for any of my brothers that are over there playing right now. Have a great relationship with all of them. I love them all, and I think it's really the people that make this place.
Well, Bryce, I have to say, if you were ever to decide I'd like to do some broadcasting, you're going to be a natural, I can tell you.
All right, I
appreciate that. You're going to be great at this. You're always welcome. Thanks so much for coming on. Enjoy the second half.
Yes, sir, I appreciate it. I'll definitely be back for one of these games to call it with you.
I'll see you at the post-game meal after this game tonight if you're around.
Sounds good. I'll see you there.
All right, thank you, Bryce. That is Bryce Waterman, 1,000-point score for the CSI Dolphins and one of the most prolific three-point shooters in the history of the men's basketball program. We thank him very much for his time, and we thank all of you at home as well for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. I think I'm at about 2 or 3 voice cracks tonight. It is going fast, as this is Game 6 in the last, I'd say, about 30 hours or so. So it's been a very long couple of days, and for me, this is the last game I will be calling this weekend. Nick Bavona and I at the stats desk tomorrow. Nick Durst will take you through the final 2 games of our 2024 men's basketball tournament of heroes. However, we still have another 20 minutes of basketball here tonight. Hopefully my voice can make it through to the finish. The Dolphins might need it. I mistakenly said CSI trailed by 9 at the break. I didn't give them enough credit. They trail by 7 entering the second half. So I believe it will be Owls basketball to start half number 2. They will inbound from right in front of us here at the commentary desk. And they will look to build their lead back up. They led by a significant margin in the first half. Their largest lead was 19 points, but the Dolphins battled back in the closing minutes of the first half and pulled to within 7. The Owls work it out toward the perimeter. This is Vargas. He steps back and can't connect from the wing. Here comes Aaron Goldstein the other way. J.J. Chestnut, who had foul trouble in the first half, is back in as Goldstein somehow finds Blake Wilson, who can't hit the 3. Mallory left open. No good. And the rebound is pulled in by Diarra. Three-pointer on its way. Hester, no good. And Poulin got a piece of that ball, tipping it away from Chandler, but so far tonight, Antonio Chandler has been an absolute beast on the glass. He has been a problem for the Dolphins thus far. Chandler with 7 rebounds. Diarra hands off to Vargas. Fadeaway jumper is good. And Vargas now has 8. Here comes Chestnut. And he was fouled. No basket.
Owls foul is on number 3, Isaac Hester. His first foul. Team's first.
Inbound pass tipped, emphatically so, by Isaac Hester. Dolphins will inbound again. Feed out to Mallory. He hands off to Chestnut. 20 to shoot. And JJ banks it in. Chestnut has 6 points in just 9 minutes. Dolphins back to within 7. Bounce pass inside. Chandler had it poked away. It's loose. Wilson and Chandler on the floor. And jump ball will be called here. Possession arrow favors the Dolphins. CSI has it again, trailing by 7. Chestnut will bring it up now. Mallory at the top of the arc. Right back to Chestnut. Bounce pass a bit low, but it was kicked. And it will stay Dolphins ball. Chestnut inbounds to Goldstein, inside of 20 to shoot. 3 on its way, splash. Aaron Goldstein, with his 4th 3 of the game, has brought the Dolphins to within 4. Feed on the cut, and the dunk attempt was swatted away by Wilson. Goldstein to the rim, reverse layup, no good. Pull-in has the putback, and the Dolphins are within 2. CSI has come storming back from 19 down, and it is a 2-point game. Timeout, Southern Connecticut State. What a run by the Dolphins that has carried over since the conclusion of the first half. CSI has scored the last 7, and they are now within 2. 17:31 to go in the second half. We'll be right back after a quick 30-second break. Just 2:29 gone by in this second half, and the Dolphins have turned what was once a 19-point deficit late in the first half into a 2-point deficit. The Owls will inbound from in front of their own bench. This is James. Bounce pass for Diarra, now Chandler. Kick out for Hester. He looks to drive, and his fadeaway jumper is no good. And that was tipped by Wilson out of bounds. It will stay Owls basketball. They will have 20 to shoot. And Chandler lost it. I thought maybe off the foot of a Dolphin, but instead he was last to touch it. So the Dolphins now can tie or take the lead on this possession. That was poked away as Goldstein wanted to get it to Wilson. Now Wilson has it. Diarra defending closely. Mallory from Wilson can't finish. Second try, no good. And the rebound went to the Owls with a foul called against the Dolphins. That foul, just the first team foul for the Dolphins in this second half. The Owls also with just one team foul. Screen set by Diarra. Vargas picked up his dribble. Diarra hands it right back to Vargas. Dolphins switching on the perimeter defensively. And James is rejected by Wilson. Another block for Blake Wilson. Goldstein, no good. And Wilson has the rebound. He was fouled. And possession will stay with the Dolphins. Blake Wilson defensively has made a big impact here in this third quarter, a couple of blocks. He also has 3 rebounds and is another player that gives the Dolphins some good length on the floor. And Mallory was fouled. And that's a play we've seen from the Dolphins. An alley-oop off the inbound. Now, I thought he was shooting. I do believe that he is headed to the line. So Mallory perhaps shooting 2. And they are going to say it was a non-shooting foul. I thought for sure they'd give that one to Mallory. He was very clearly in a shooting motion, but the foul may have occurred before he had a chance to do anything. This is Chestnut backing in, spins, and nearly banked it in with the left, but Poulin there for the tip-in. That's Joey Poulin's second putback. We are tied at 47. The Dolphins in the midst of a 9-0 run. Vargas is fouled. And with that, we head to a media timeout. 15:45 to go, second half. Dolphins and Owls tied at 47. And we are back from the tank with inside of 16 minutes to play in the second half. Dolphins and Owls are tied at 47. At the line for Southern Connecticut State is Albert Vargas. Vargas in this game has 8 points, and he misses the first. That rolls in off the front rim. One-point game. Dolphins have it. Inside of 20 on the shot clock. Mallory, bounce pass. Wilson, and I think he was blocked. Margupis all over him from behind. May have altered the shot. He possibly blocked it. Margupis, head fake, step back, and he will give it up. Good defense by Poulin. And the finger roll won't go. Vargas got caught underneath the basket and really didn't have any angle to get that shot off.
Into the game for the Dolphins, a second returns. Justin Zirus and Shamar Laddie on the team.
Justin Zirus back in for the Dolphins now. Vargas up top. And Margupis will shoot it. It's an air ball, and he was just about out of time. Laddie uses the Kone screen. He drives and he lays it in. Asa Kone has put the Dolphins in front by 1. Dolphins on their home floor in front of a capacity crowd now have the momentum. And that will not change here as that does find its way out. Laddie steals it. And Laddie to the rim will lay it in for 2 more. Great effort by Shamar Laddie to steal a possession and subsequently take 2 points. Jumper on the way, and that's good. That is a big basket to silence this capacity crowd. Laddie wanted Kone, and it was stolen. Margupis thought about it. He hands off to Christian Joe. Joe drives. And on the three-pointer, McLeese is off the mark. Laddie has it in the corner, and he stepped on the baseline. Tough break there for the Dolphins, as it looked like that rebound was secured. Joe takes the handoff from Diarra. He now looks to drive right. Pull-up jumper, short, rebounded by Mallory. Zirus for Goldstein, big crossover. Goldstein spins and nearly banked it in. Kone with the rebound, he was rejected, but a foul was called. And we will see here if it will be Kone or Wiggin headed to the line. And it will be Asa Kone headed to the line for the Dolphins. 2 shots coming up. First free throw on its way, and that's good. One more shot coming up for Kone. And he has 6 points. Goldstein leads the way with 16. No other Dolphin with more than 6 except Messiah Mallory, who has 9. Chance of defense from the Fanatics. The Dolphins now leading by 3. Their largest lead was 5-0. James draws the foul.
Sees that foul to number 5, Justin Zirus. It's his first foul. Team's third. 2 shots for James.
James to the line for 2. And the first is good. And the second free throw rattles out. Dolphins in front by 2 now. Goldstein racing up the floor, lost the ball. And Ziris poked at it, but the Owls take it. And laying it in is McLeese. Tie game. We saw the Dolphins with defense leading to offense. The Owls respond in kind. Here comes Wiggin. Fadeaway jumper. Too strong. And a foul was called underneath as Kone was contacted competing for that rebound. Ziris the inbounder. Threw it behind Wiggin, who tipped it right to Goldstein. Goldstein, big crossover. He goes around the back now. This is Ziris. Ziris uses the Kone screen. Looking outside, and he throws it away. Chandler with the steal, and Chandler with the one-handed slam. Antonio Chandler continues what has been a strong night for him. 9 points, 7 rebounds. Southern Connecticut State back in front by 2. This is Mallory on the drive, and his layup is good. Messiah Mallory now in double figures. He has 11. James for 3. Sean James, after a fantastic first half, had been kept quiet here in the second half, but not on that possession. And the Dolphins trail by 3 again. Mallory on the wing. Tries the 3. No good. And James has the rebound. Joe taking his time, surveying the floor. Now James. Had it poked away, and it will stay Owls basketball. And with that, we will take a media timeout. 10:49 to go. Dolphins trail 58-55. $10:49 to go in the second half. The Dolphins erased a 19-point deficit earlier in this game. They led by as many as 5 in the opening minutes, but the Southern Connecticut State University Owls have withstood the storm, and they are back in front by 3. It will be Owls basketball here with 16 on the shot clock and a chance to make this 2-possession game. We're waiting on the inbound here as the referee presents the ball to Christian Joe. James brings it out to the perimeter. He now looks to drive, and the scoop layup won't go. Kone with the rebound. Chestnut crosses over to his right and can't get the bank shot to go. That's a good look for JJ, a shot that he is adept at knocking down. And Joe on the turnaround makes it a 5-point Owls lead. Ziris surveys the floor, now has a screen from Kone. Chestnut to his left, floater, and he gets the roll. JJ Chestnut, adept with the left hand, adept with the right. And the Dolphins are back to within 3. More chance of defense from the Fanatics. 10 to shoot now for the Owls. Joe wants a screen. He's got it from Chandler. Step back, three-pointer, no good. And the rebound goes to Mitchell Wiggin. And they're going to say Ziris lost the ball. And we'll see if we have time to get a look. I'm not sure if he just lost it or if he was helped in that regard. I thought maybe he was contacted. The fans don't like it. And we'll get a quick look at it here. Not sure how well we can see it from our sideline, but that was my view of it. Bounce pass, Chandler, pump fake, can't finish. And Margupis couldn't pull in the rebound. Here comes Wiggin. Bounce pass stolen. Joe all over that one. He read it perfectly. And I think Ziris gave a good foul there, stopping the fast break and preventing an easy basket. That will draw Messiah Mallory off the bench. Kone and Wiggin out. Oyakonmi and Mallory in. Diarra hands off. And now the kick out goes to Joe. Joe for Chandler. And he will hand off to McLeese. McLeese turnaround, no good. Fall away hook there wouldn't go. And now Ziris looking inside toward Mallory, makes the entry pass. Messiah backing in, pump fakes, and is rejected. Diarra spiking that shot right back at Mallory. He came across the baseline on the help defense, and he nearly buried the triple. That one in and out. Owls stay in front by 3. Mallory for Poulin. Into the corner, Oyakonmi. Out to Ziris. 12 on the shot clock. Ziris. Bounce pass. Oyakonmi, and he is fouled. And we said it earlier, Michael Oyakonmi can play above the rim. And he was making a bid for the highlight reel on that dunk attempt. Sixth team foul on the Owls with 8 minutes to play, so keep that in mind moving forward. Next foul will put the Dolphins in the 1-and-1 bonus. Oyakonmi's first free throw is good. Also of note on that last play, that foul was the 4th on Antonio Chandler, so he will head to the bench along with Joe and McLeese. On the floor now, Vargas, Margupis, James, Diarra, and Hester. Oyakonmi, Goldstein, Poulin, Mallory, and Chestnut for the Dolphins, as that free throw wasn't close. Vargas will bring it up, his team leading by 2. Diarra nearly lost it. James off the head fake, bounce pass inside, and Mallory commits the foul. And that will send us to another media timeout. Free throws for Sharif Diarra on the other side of this short break. His team leading 60-58. So an outside interested third party wanted one more look at that out-of-bounds play, a call that went against the Dolphins. Though right now it is not allowing me to queue up our replay. We're having a replay issue right now. I'm not sure why. All right, there we go. Let's get a look. Now, is this the right play? I think it is. May have to wind it forward a bit, but we'll get there. We're looking at whether or not they got this one right on the out of bounds, and I don't think we're going to see it on this camera angle. Can't see it on that angle. We'll have to go to the wide angle, and we'll have to do so later. Camera didn't get around fast enough. So, Edward, why don't you cue up the wide angle, as that free throw is no good. And next time we have a stoppage, we'll get one more look from the wide shot. So bring that over. Drop the replay speed down to about 0.5, and we'll get a look at it once we have a stoppage. First free throw, no good from Diarra, and the second is good. So he goes 1 of 2 from the line. 3-point lead for the Owls. And that is poked away on the attempted entry pass to Messiah Mallory. Perfect timing. 30-second timeout. Edward, let's go to the replay. Boy, that's close. It comes down to whether or not Ziris elbowed the ball out of bounds. Again, we had an interested third party that wanted to know whether or not this call was right. What do you think, Edward? Did the ball hit his elbow, yes or no? I'm inclined to say it may have, because I don't think the ball ends up that far back unless he hit it that way. I'm inclined to think they got it right. As we have a foul against the Dolphins, an offensive foul. Oyekanmi picks up the foul. That is now the 6th Dolphins team foul. They had 4 just 30 seconds ago. And they now have 6 as well. So both teams now 1 foul away from putting the other side in the 1-and-1 bonus. And the Dolphins do just that. One and one for Vargas here. And free throw shooting now has moved into a position of great importance down the stretch in this game. It did not look like either team would have to contend with foul trouble as Vargas missed it, but I think we may have had a lane violation. And it is a lane violation, a situation that we were discussing earlier at the stats desk. That free throw is good. So the Dolphins potentially cost themselves 2 points on the lane violation, and that one hurts. And they do. That is a 2-point miscue in that situation. Chestnut hands off to Poulin. Now Mallory. Mallory on the fall away again, makes a pass at the last second, but Oyakhilome was rejected. Mallory has added that pass to his repertoire, passing out of that fall away jumper, not something we've seen him do very often. Vargas inside, a mismatch here for Diarra. Diarra fakes and doesn't get the roll, but Margupis pulls in the rebound and draws a foul. So once again, the Owls will head to the line. Eighth team foul now on the Dolphins. The Dolphins have committed, I believe, 4 fouls in the last, I think minute and 20 seconds. And Margupis hits the free throw. And that rattles out. Chestnut with the rebound. And I thought he might take it coast to coast. Instead, his pass to Mallory was tipped. And it will be Dolphins ball. Dolphins led by 5 early. Never led by more than 3 here in the second half. This is Goldstein for 3. Splash! Big basket by Aaron Goldstein. And it's a 1-possession game again. Still plenty of time, 6.5 minutes to play. Vargas, now defended by Poulin. This is James. He spins away from the Margupis screen. He now has Mallory one-on-one. James drives baseline, bounce pass, corner 3, no good. But Goldstein is whistled for the foul. Heading to the line is Hester. I believe they did announce 3 shots, and the first is no good. And he's 0 for 2 now. So Hester, who had attempted 2 free throws before this trip to the line, was 1 of 2. He is now 1 of 4 from the stripe, with 1 more coming. And the third is good. Owls by 4, just over 6 minutes to play. The Dolphins now with 9 team fouls. The Owls will be in the double bonus with the next Dolphins foul. Goldstein for Mallory. Mallory into the corner. Poulin drives the baseline. Bounce pass. Mallory! And he throws it down with 2 hands. What a feed from Joey Poulin. And Messiah Mallory punctuates that play with a 2-handed dunk. And the Dolphins just cannot stop fouling right now. The lead had been cut to 2. And just moments later, the Owls are right back on the free throw line. I've always loved our CSI Dolphin quarter zips on the men's basketball bench, but speaking of the Owls, they have some very sharp-looking coaches' jackets over there on the bench for their staff. I really do like those jackets. Couldn't help but notice as I glanced over. First free throw is good for Vargas. And he goes 2 of 2 from the line. Those look like lightweight varsity quarter zip pullovers on the side of the Owls. Very nice touch with the white sleeves. I like it a lot. This is Goldstein, who almost lost it. He dribbles well beyond the arc now. This is Ziris. Mallory has a mismatch, but they can't get him the ball. This is Chestnut. Splash! Mallory had the mismatch, and I think the Owls saw it, and that forced them to creep in just enough for J.J. Chestnut to hit that three. Diarra, easy two. He got great deep position on Mallory, and there wasn't much Messiah could do there. Once again, the Owls lead by 3. Mallory for Goldstein. 15 to shoot. Goldstein out to Chestnut. Right back to Goldstein for 3. No good. Chestnut got a hand on it, but could not get enough on that tip to get it out to Ziris. Hester, defended by Chestnut. Now Diarra fakes, drives, kicks, and James knocks down another 3. His 7th of the game, and I believe that ties a Tournament of Heroes record. We were working on the record books yesterday before I left for work. We completed them up to the date, and I think 7 threes in a game ties an individual record as Mallory converts the layup off the feed from Goldstein. And Mallory signaling to the bench that he is hurt. It looked like he may be cramping up. He is staying in the game and appears okay. And count that basket and one. Mallory looks like he has to come out, and the Dolphins now trail by 6 again as Albert Vargas goes off glass and converts through contact and one. Southern Connecticut State over CSI 74-68, 3:31 remaining in the game. .331 to go, second half. Dolphins trail by 6, and a chance for one more at the line for Albert Vargas, who has had himself quite the game, 15 points. Shooting just 4 of 10, but he's 5 of 6 from the line. Looking to make it 6 of 7 right here. And he does. Southern Connecticut State in front by 7 now. I believe this is their largest lead since very early in this second half, as Kone couldn't finish the alley-oop dunk. The Owls briefly had numbers, and they cannot capitalize. A very quick turnover, and that helps the Dolphins in a big way right there. This is Chestnut, hop step, and he draws the foul. Now, Messiah Mallory was relegated to the bench with what appeared to be a cramp. The 5 on the floor right now: Goldstein, Ziris, Kone, Poulin, and Chestnut. JJ headed to the line here for 2 shots, and these are 2 big free throws. And the first free throw for JJ is good. And Messiah Mallory heads back to the scorer's table and will check in here. Kone out, Mallory in, 3:02 to go. Dolphins trail by 5. Dolphins putting some pressure on here. Diarra defended closely by Poulin. Here comes Vargas with a head of steam. Pulls it back out, and the Owls will reset. James. Bounce pass inside. Diarra over Ziris, can't convert, and the tip-in is no good by Chandler. He almost put that one back with a dunk. Here comes Goldstein. And Goldstein was fouled. 1-1 coming up for Aaron Goldstein, and that is exactly what the Dolphins are looking for. Stop the clock and shave some points off of this lead.
1-1 situation. Aaron Goldstein is a 1-1.
First free throw by Goldstein is good. One more coming for Goldstein. And those are 2 clutch free throws. Dolphins back to within 3, under 2.5 to play. Vargas hounded on the perimeter by Poulin. Poulin has good size. Vargas 5'10", Poulin 6'3". 5 to shoot now. James looking for one more big basket, and he nearly got that to go. Offensive board by Diarra. Hester open for 3. Big basket by Isaac Hester. It is now a 6-point game again. Mallory looks to work quickly, and he can't finish with the left as James went down hard. Both players had their hands on the ball at the same time. And James is hurt. He hit the floor hard there. And you especially hate to see that after the night he's had. It's been a great game for Sean James, and he remains down on the floor, being attended to by the Owls trainer. They're looking at his left leg right now. It sounded like he hit the floor pretty hard. I didn't think he landed on his leg. And the way they're looking at him right now, it appears they're attending to what may be a cramp, but that's as far as I'll speculate. And I would think a cramp is probably best case scenario given how hard he seemed to hit the floor. .145 to play, and there was a foul called. So the Owls will head back to the line as they attend to a wet spot on the floor. These free throws are big ones because a make here will extend the lead for the Owls to 3 possessions, and that makes the road back for the Dolphins a lot tougher. If you're a fan of the Dolphins, you have to love the resilience this team demonstrated tonight. Trailed by 19, took the lead back, but were not able to hold it. And the Owls showing good resilience of their own. The Dolphins came out firing in the second half, and it appeared as if the Owls were on their heels, headed for a double-digit deficit, but Southern Connecticut State responded and were able to get back in front. And they've been there for quite some time now. The Dolphins have been working their way back from a possession or two down for much of the second half. Ziris to the rim. Can't get the floater, but he does have the putback. Dolphins needed a quick basket, and they get one. Ziris now has 7. Dolphins could really use a turnover here. The Owls would love to take 30 off the clock. And Vargas wisely calls timeout. Good awareness there by Albert Vargas. No reason to take any chances there. The Owls still, I believe, had 2 timeouts remaining. Now they have 1. This will be a full timeout, but we will stay right here with only 1:15 remaining. At that time, we will take a look at the box score. Aaron Goldstein leads the Dolphins with 21. He's 5 of 8 from downtown. Messiah Mallory has 15 to go along with 8 rebounds and 3 blocks. In case you didn't know, Messiah, the all-time blocks leader in the history of the men's basketball program. On the other side, Sean James leads the way with 24 points. He has tied a Tournament of Heroes single-game record with 7 made threes. He is 8 of 15 from the floor. Sharif Diarra, meanwhile, is on triple-double watch. 13 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He may be out of time, but never say never. 10 on the shot clock now. And a basket here may put this one out of reach. Joe lost his footing and turned it over. Here comes Goldstein. And he was fouled. Well, if you're the Owls there, you probably don't want to foul there because Goldstein was still going to have to finish. And whether or not Goldstein was in the act of shooting matters here because this will either be a 1-and-1 or 2 from the line for Goldstein. It looks like a 1-and-1 it is, and Goldstein hits the first. Late last season, Goldstein had one of his best games. Scored a career high in the finale. I believe it was the finale anyway. And he goes 2 for 2 from the line here. Inbound goes to Vargas. And a travel is called on Christian Joe. Big turnover there, and just like that, the Dolphins can make this a 1-score game without having to foul. That is a big turnover by the Owls, and the Dolphins are right back in business. Goldstein in the corner. Backs in, has Chestnut. Chestnut to the rim for an easy 2. Timeout, I believe, was called by the Dolphins, and it will be a 30-second timeout. J.J. Chestnut, in limited minutes, has had a very nice game. He was relegated to the bench with foul trouble, missed much of the first half. He has 15 points on 6 of 9 from the floor in just 23 minutes. 2 years ago, Chestnut averaged over 32 minutes per game. And last year, when those minutes dipped down into the mid-20s, his scoring average and his rebounding average hardly dropped off. In fact, I think in the men's basketball collegiate game, they'd probably say you're per 30 minutes rather than 36. The game just a bit shorter at the college level, but his production per minute went up and not down. And it wasn't really close. So don't be fooled by his averages. His production did not dip last season. Vargas circles back toward half court. Now James. 10-second differential between shot and game clock. The Dolphins need a stop. The Dolphins have a lot of length out there on the floor right now. Vargas for James. Air ball. And it will be Dolphins ball. The rebound was loose underneath. It was tipped out of bounds by the Owls. And with 17.6 remaining, the Dolphins will get it back, trailing by 2. Will they hold for the final shot? Will they try and diagram a play? I think diagram a play is the option TJ Tibbs will go with here. James a bit frustrated with himself as he heads back to the Owls bench, but given where the Dolphins were with about a minute left, this is absolute best case scenario. A basket may have put the game away for Southern Connecticut State. They were leading by 6. If they had scored, they go in front by 8. And that may have put this one on ice. Instead, they turned it over and fouled Goldstein. He hit both free throws. Then the Owls turned it over, and the Dolphins scored quickly. And just like that, the deficit was 4. Excuse me, it was 2. And then the Dolphins, of course, got the stop on that last trip down the floor. So it was a 6-point game, and a turnover sparked a CSI rally. Can they finish? What a pair of games this has been to open up our Tournament of Heroes, and I don't think we expected anything less from 4 of the premier programs in the region. Owls lead it by 2. Dolphins will inbound from right in front of their own bench. J.J. Chestnut, the inbounder. He's joined on the floor by Mallory, Poulin, Ziris, and Goldstein. Feed inside for Mallory, and he is fouled. That was some misdirection by the Dolphins there. They had a pair of shooters work their way toward the top of the arc, and the pass went right over everyone and into Mallory. Dolphins love that look. The alley-oop attempt off the inbound. And this time they do get the foul call. Meanwhile, a huge development as Antonio Chandler has fouled out. That's a big loss for the Owls, especially on the glass. He had 8 rebounds. The Owls, among the players that have gotten into the game tonight, only have one player who stands taller than 6'6" that has played tonight. And that is Margupis. Jack Margupis in the game now. And Mallory's first free throw is good. This place is about to fall deathly silent. And perhaps the Owls looking to ice Mallory here and discuss what they will do on a make and what they will do on a miss. A lot of teams off of a made free throw don't like to call timeout and give the defense a chance to get the personnel they want out there. And off of a missed free throw, I don't think most teams are calling timeout. I think a lot of teams in that situation, in a tie, well, it wouldn't be a tie game off the miss, but in a tie game off a miss, a lot of teams now elect to play that out. That scenario not in play here. So the Owls are out of timeouts. They will not have the option to call timeout on a make or a miss. And if you're the Dolphins, obviously you will look to immediately come up with a steal on a missed free throw, and if not, you will have to foul. And if you're CSI, I'm not sure there's a player you'd prefer to have at the line in this spot. 4-year senior, a leader of this program, and I think he will go down when his career is done as the most impactful two-way player in the Division II history of the men's basketball program. A huge free throw coming up for Messiah Mallory here. 11.8 remaining with the Dolphins trailing by 1. And the free throw is no good. Rebounded by Oyakonmi. Chestnut for the lead. No good. Kone is fouled. Asa Kone on the offensive glass. He draws the foul and will head to the line with a chance to give CSI the lead. What a development. The Dolphins get their bigs into the game off the bench. Kone, Poulin, Oyakonmi, and Chestnut. I think the only way they get much bigger is if they sent Blake Wilson out there. But Kone just needs 1 to tie, 2 for the lead. And the first is no good. And with a miss, the second one always becomes that much tougher. A potential game-tying free throw on its way from Kone. Splash! And the Dolphins have tied the score. 5.3 remaining, no timeouts for the Owls. TJ Tibbs giving direction from the bench. Vargas has the inbound, racing up the floor, looks to drive, lost the ball, fadeaway jumper is good! And the Owls win it at the buzzer. Albert Vargas lost the ball, and falling away in the corner, he delivers a game winner. Heartbreak for the Dolphins on night 1 in this 2024 Tournament of Heroes. And Albert Vargas is the hero tonight for Southern Connecticut State University. They win it 82-80. Here's another look. We'll have to back it up a bit, but Vargas celebrating off screen. Let's back it up a bit. He lost the ball, regained it, and was able to knock down the fall-away jumper over a trio of Dolphin defenders. A heartbreaking end to a phenomenal night of basketball here at the Tank. And credit to the Owls for coming on the road, traveling from Southern Connecticut, and stealing a win here at the Tank tonight. Both teams back in action tomorrow. We tip off at 1 p.m. with our first game on day 2 of this 2024 CSI Tournament of Heroes. In the early game, it will be Southern New Hampshire University taking on the Dolphins. In our second game, this Southern Connecticut State team takes on St. Thomas Aquinas College. My name is Joe Foreman. My voice is just about gone. It has been a pleasure leading you through the first 6 games of the weekend. Nick Durst on the call tomorrow. Be sure to join him